Hello and welcome to my little art haul from Jackson's today. I ordered this at the end of January just because I've been feeling a little down about, the state of the world currently, as I'm sure we all are. It's just kind of hit a little bit more of a reality come January. Not trying to, complain about myself and make it sound like I have the worst life in the whole wide world. I'm sure that, there's a lot of other things going on, but when I get sad, I like to buy myself some pretty watercolors, even though I have a decent sized collection already that I probably don't use as much as I should. But one of my favorite brands, Roman Szmal, came out with some new colors. I think it was a month or two ago. I missed the first wave of it and they sold out. I also bought a couple Maimeri Blue watercolors. They're a newer brand that I kind of have been wanting to try out a little bit more. I got a set of them on sale last year. I don't remember which one it was, but it was on sale for like $25 for a couple, like 6 of the colors, and they're pretty good. I like them. They have a lot of single pigment colors, which I really like for my collection. It's a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me when I buy like a convenience color. So anyway, here I am showing off all of the colors that I got. Most of them are the newer colors. I think the only one that's not is the November 2024. I mean, it's technically a newer color, but I don't think it was part of this release of all these newer colors. Ignore my super dry hands. It's winter time where I am and my hands dry out because I wash them all the time at work and there's not enough hand moisturizer in the world. Anyway, yeah, in a second we'll get to some swatches. I kind of organize them by the number system that Roman Szmal has. That usually kind of puts them in the shade range usually, not all the time. Anyway, the first color we have is Quinacridone Magenta Intense. It's a very punchy, typical quinacridone magenta color. There was no pigment information for this one, so I don't have that for you, unfortunately. It's definitely intense. It definitely has a deeper, color value, I'd say, than a lot of other magentas I've used. I tried to do these circle swatches. They're not perfect, but I did like a deeper value one and then like a lighter, just kind of wash one just so you could really see the full range of each of these colors. I also apologize if there's any background noise. It's currently freezing rain outside, and so there's little pitter patters off of my window. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but if you can, I apologize, and I will try and figure out editing out as much as possible. Alright, the next color we have is Lava, which is a mixture of PG17, PB29, and PR255. So it's a pretty heavy granulating color. You can kind of see it a little bit better in the second set of swatches I do when I do the eye studies with the colors, but it can go pretty dark. And it has that PB29, which is an ultramarine blue, so it has a really nice granulation. It would be really beautiful for some like textures. And then moving on, our next one is Quinacridone Warm Pink, and this one is PV42. I don't think I have this pigment in my collection, and I don't think I've really seen it in many brands, but it's definitely a really nice, like, you can definitely tell the difference between the Quinacridone Magenta Intense and even the one I'll swatch in a second, Quinacridone Rose. It's definitely much warmer. Next up we have Quinacridone Rose. I did go back on the Jackson's website, and if there's not a pigment number listed, then unfortunately they don't have that information. I'm not entirely sure why. This is a very nice, like, delicate pink color. I think very fitting to the name Quinacridone Rose. And then I was very excited for this color, Nickel Azo Gold. It is PY150 and PR102. Very beautiful color. If you're a quinacridone gold lover like me, it is a little bit reminiscent of that. Just with the PY150, I think a lot of brands are trying to make their own mixes with it, just since PO48 is discontinued, though I think a lot of brands thankfully have a pretty heavy supply of it, so hopefully it won't go out of stock in our lifetime, but you never know. Next up is Mineral Pink, and this is a mixture of PB29 and PR122. Again, has that ultramarine blue, so it does have some nice granulation. They do have another color kind of similar called Mineral Violet that I think it has a different PR pigment, but it has that PB29, so it's a little similar, but it's a lot more purple. And next up we have Indigo Greenish, PB15.3, PG7 and PBK7. So it's just a nice indigo kind of color. I don't think the black is a granulating type of black, so it just makes these really nice flat washes. And next up we have Forest Green, which is PB29, PBR11, PY150. It's just this really pretty, like nice mossy deep green. Again, has the PB29, so a little bit of granulation in there. Would be really beautiful for some nice landscape watercolors. And then next up we have November 2024. I'm not sure if they do it like every year, but I think they have an October color one too. I don't know if that was a 2023 release. There was no pigment information listed on the packaging. I feel like I've seen people do swatches of this color before and they did have some pigment information. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it. It wasn't on the Jackson's website when I looked before I started recording, but it's just a really beautiful, deep, like purple gray color. And now I'm just setting out to start swatching the Maimeri Blue Colors. I could do a whole nother video, well, I could do several other videos with the rest of my Roman Szmal Colors, but especially the Maimeri Blue, to just kind of feature some of those pigments that I have from that. A little messy, as you can see, I got a bunch of that watercolor on my finger. Just ignore that. First up we have Payne's Gray. The only information it had was Vat Blue 1. Like I said, Maimeri Blue is pretty unique in that they only have single pigments for all their colors. Typically Payne's Gray is like a mixture of a bunch of different colors in other brands. So it's kind of interesting to have this just single pigment one. You know, it might be a little bit better with like color mixing and stuff. That's kind of why I like single pigments. It's a lot harder to muddy up color mixes when you use those. And then I bought Viridian, which is PG18. I was actually inspired to buy Indigo and Viridian because I saw somebody do like a color chart study. I think it was of like indigo mixes, and they used it with Viridian, and it just made all of these really beautiful just tones and values that I really liked and wanted to kind of play around with. Fortunately, this one, I don't know if it's because it's like a genuine Viridian, it's just not very pigmented and doesn't get as deep as I kind of wanted it to go. I have a Holbein, I think that's like a Viridian hue. Maybe I'll try out some mixes with that. And then last up we have Indigo. It honestly almost looks the same exact as the Payne's Gray. The only information it had was NB1, which I think might just stand for Natural Blue 1. But yeah, it's pretty similar to the Payne's Gray. It just might have a little bit more of a blue tone to it. And then here's just an overview of the swatches now that they're dried. Sorry for the shaky camera work. I'm just kind of going through just so you can see up close all the textures and just how everything looks dried. I think my favorites out of this are definitely the Nickel Azo Gold, the Quinacridone Magenta Intense, the Quin Warm Pink, and then that Mineral Pink are really cool. To test out some of the colors, I kind of did some pairings. There wasn't really any rhyme or reason behind this. I just kind of put two colors together that I kind of wanted to play around with together. I just drew out some eyes. Those are kind of like my comfort thing. Like if I don't know what I want to draw, or I'm kind of like, I don't know, just stressed, it's just kind of fun to sketch out some eyes and do some fun like iris shapes or just some unique eye shapes that I've never done before. So I just wanted to test them out, just kind of see how the colors like intermix with each other. I'll just kind of let this play through. Basically, for most of them, I think I did just like a wash, just kind of with a mixture of the two colors for like the skin tone, and then played around with like the darker colors obviously to like shade it, and then use the lighter color just to do some like highlights and pops. I was, you know, trying to make each piece a little unique, but it's kind of hard when you're just drawing 5 pairs of eyes, so hopefully it's not too boring for you. Again, I tried to mix everything up a little bit, but yeah, I'll just let that play for a minute. I was a little scared with using some of the like, you know, 3 pigment mixes, but I think everything actually worked out pretty well. I didn't really have any issues with like the mixtures and tones of stuff. I think it was more some of my line work was a little messy, especially this 3rd set of eyes. I really wasn't a huge fan of. It looks a little skewed. I don't know if I sketched it out with the sketchbook like tilted to the side, but anyway, I really wanted to mix the pink and the green just because I love that for like a color comp, and it kind of came out the most natural looking, I'd say, ish. I mean, I guess people don't really have bright pink eyes, but I guess for like a skin tone is what I'm trying to say. And I just kind of love the like earthy tones I could get with the forest green with it, and it was like a true set of complementary colors, so it really just kind of popped. And then this 4th set of eyes, I absolutely hated it at first, especially for this initial stage with the wash, but it's really sad because this was like the color comp that kind of was inspiring to me getting all of these colors, because I was just looking for some Viridian and Indigos to buy, and then I noticed that the Roman Szmal Colors were back in stock. I don't really hate the design of the eyes, but I just feel like I couldn't get what I wanted to get with these 2 colors, or couldn't get what I wanted to get. I don't know how to explain it. And then this last set of eyes, I swear it wasn't intentional, but all I could think of once I started coloring it in was Oshinoko. I've never even watched it. I've, you know, seen clips. I know kind of the basic gist of what it's about, but it just kind of looks like eyes. I just wanted to do some star-shaped pupils. I swear it wasn't intentional, but I kind of just leaned into it once I like realized it, because, you know, I didn't want to fight it. And then I'm just going back over everything with another wash, just to kind of, you know, add shadows and contrast. I think that's what kind of really helps bring all of them together. Like, it's really hard to get past the initial wash because it just looks so flat, but the second pass through definitely helped everything. All the colors, like I said, they worked really amazingly together. Roman Szmal used honey base, so they re-wet so nicely. They mix together so nicely. Like, they're not a struggle to work with. I'm using a Kadi fat book for the paper. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. It's just a bunch of like watercolor paper, 100% cotton. It's more for like, you probably can't use it for anything super heavy, and the paper definitely was like warping in between all of these washes. I don't think I was using like that much water on it, but it does flatten back out at the end. But I think it's a great little book, especially for like swatching like this kind of work, just to test out colors and see how they'd look with like some really nice watercolor paper. I think you can also get these on Jackson's. I think that's where I got mine. Sometimes they go out of stock, so if you see them and you're interested, I definitely recommend grabbing one. I think these first two sets of eyes are definitely like my favorite. The way they came out, which I'm kind of sad about because they're like the most basic ones. I mean, the top one has the heart eyes, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, this third set, I wish I could just like, I kind of want to redo them because I really like the colors. It's more like the eye shape. I think I was looking at like something on Pinterest when I was doing them. It wasn't like I was just naturally drawing it in my style. So that's probably why they came out a little wonky. And then the power decided to go off when I was in the middle of doing this first set. So I kind of, just to reset myself, I finished doing the third set off camera just because it was getting in my head. And then to make these fourth set of eyes a little bit different and unique, I said they kind of look like demon eyes, so let's just give them black scleras. And I kind of really like how it came out. Yeah, I just keep adding in some like shadows, some pops of the viridian. This is the only one I go over like 3 times, so I'll fill in the iris and pupil and then move on to the last set of eyes again and then come back because I wasn't able to get it as deep black as I really wanted it to be. I think that's a really important thing to do with watercolors. You know, if you're working on it and everything's getting muddy and messy, you just gotta learn to just let it dry and then come back to it. And like I said before, I was really nervous to use like the multi-pigmented colors together. I probably could have swapped out the mineral pink in November to be used with other ones, but it actually didn't come out like super muddy or anything. I think they were similar enough tones, and maybe they like shared the PB29 potentially. I'm not sure, like I said, exactly what's in the November 2024. Jackson's didn't have it anymore on their website, so I don't know if it's permanently gone, which will be sad because I really like it. It almost has like moon glow vibes from like Daniel Smith. Yeah, like I said, I went back over this set of eyes one more time just to really darken it up, just because I think that's what it really needed. And kind of added like a graphical line work with it, just to try and do something different. But yeah, my goal this year is to definitely be a little more consistent making videos. So hopefully this was entertaining or informational to you, and you can look out for another video soon. I think I want to try and do like one a month, but I don't want to put too much pressure on myself because that's when I kind of struggle. But here's just a little overview up close of all the eyes I did. I think eyes are kind of a really fun way to test out colors, but that's just me personally. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye!